What's up, y'all? You already know what time it is, man. We're gonna get right back into this shit. You know, like I was saying last time, they took me out of the two-man cells out of Eborn and put me back in the open bay. So, like I said, my self-preference, you know, I like them two-man cells. You know, a lot of people like open bay or whatever. Me, I mean, it's alright. I could deal with it. I'll survive anywhere. But, you know, at the end of the day, them two-man cells ain't nothing like them two-man cells. As long as you got you a good bunkie and y'all vibing, you know, that shit gonna go by, man. Y'all ain't even gonna feel like you doing time. You feel me? But, yeah, though. So, I'm back in D-Dorm. You know, I'm back in open bay or whatever. And, it's kind of fucked up because, I ended up running into my dog, one of my dogs from Dade County. And we's in that bitch vibing, you know, chilling, chopping it up or whatever. And he's like, hey, bro, you know, I got someone selling a jack. Boom, boom, boom. If you want to try to get another jack, boom, boom. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it, bro. Let's get one. So, you know, I ended up getting one from there. It was nothing but like it was like my first little touch screen or whatever. It was like a knockoff brand. Had him for a while. Probably like a fucking week, really. They did a little random shakedown. It got knocked off. So I had to charge that shit to the game. Then fucked around and got my first iPhone ever. Was in the chain gang. It was a baby blue iPhone 5C. And I didn't really know shit about iPhones, but it beat getting the app IMO. Because IMO is like the app that we used to get when you want to FaceTime. You know what I'm saying? Like, be on FaceTime and shit. So, that shit lasted 5 days. I remember I was in the back stall on it. And they say, one time. That means that the officers are doing their rounds, their walkthroughs or whatever. And I fucking jumped up and fumbled and dropped that bitch in the toilet. That bitch only lasted 5 days. I'm talking about it was $1,000 phone right there. And it was gone just like that. Because before I went to prison or whatever, you know, I was always like, I was a Galaxy baby, you know, and Android. Never really was into the iPhone game. But ever since then, that iPhone, I like how I didn't need to get no apps just for FaceTime. So I'm an iPhone baby now. But I'm still in the open bay, you know, there's a bunch of shit going on, like a lot of stealing and you got officers that are actually like, if they fuck with the dorm, you know, they'll literally rewind the cameras for you. When I first went to prison, they didn't have cameras, but at this time they did. They'll literally rewind the camera for you and show you who it is that's stealing. And then the dorm will fire their ass up. Wait till they walk back, you know, catch their ass with a lock or whatever. You know, it was a very, like, you know, fucked up situation for individuals. They think they're going to just come over there and from different dorms, they'll slide over there to see their homeboys or whatnot. And then they'll steal something while they're in there. I'm talking about like anything. It could be a pair of Crocs sitting by your bed. They'll come in and sit down on the bunk and fucking take whatever they have on their feet. You know, they'll slip their Crocs off and put your boots on and walk out the door. Or they'll come there and they might like your Crocs. They got shitty ones, 2 different sizes. You know, because when they give you your Crocs and stuff, they ain't always on point. You know, a lot of times you can have a 9 on your left foot and an 11 on your right foot. So they'll come there with their 2 matching ass size Crocs and just swap out on your ass and leave. You know, gym shorts was the number one thing that a lot of people would like to steal. You know, the newer gym shorts that came out. But, so as I'm in the open bay, I'm there hanging out. And then, my dog ended up coming across a jack. So, you know, at that time, I'm like, fuck it, hell yeah. You know, it wasn't personally mine at that time. But my homeboy had a jack or whatever. And he left it to another nigga. And then that nigga happened to be the nigga that slept next to me. So I was always steady getting on that jack and fucking with that jack. I didn't even really have to get one because, you know, my dog had one like that. And he worked outside the gate. So I was really like in the clear or whatever. He's gone for hours. So, and that's when I started like mastering to make the battery packs and everything and putting everything. Like, I was already pretty good at it. But this is when I really started mastering it. Like, I want to say mastering it, but this is when I really started getting more hands-on with it. Now, not to mention, with the iPhone, actually had a wall charger. Certain dorms, you know, they slip and they don't cover the outlets. Literally had a wall charger. It was charging, because you can't hook up a battery pack to no iPhone because the battery itself is the phone. So there's no out battery to pull out like you would inside, you know, a regular fucking touchscreen and all that other shit. So as I was in there, whatever, my dog, like I said, had the jack, and then I'll be vibing on that shit. And some of my videos that I put on volume 1 and volume 2, you can actually see a wire like hanging in front of the camera as there was recordings and stuff like that. That's when I really had the battery pack hooked up to the back of it. And we rode out on that one for a little while. Like, I'm talking about probably like 7 months. Like, made it through some serious situations. Like, I remember one time they came in the dorm or whatever to do a shakedown, and we were like fucked. We didn't know what to do. But I remember we had the shit wrapped up in saran wrap and blue electric tape. And I remember walking outside the dorm and slinging that bitch up as soon as you walk out. This is the open bay now. I remember walking right outside the dorm because you had the long walkway. Like, you come outside and then you got to turn and then there's a long walk. I remember coming outside the dorm and launching that bitch up like this, and it landed in the gutter right in front of the door of the dorm. You know? And then my homeboy walked outside and he walked in the grass area. You know, people that have been to prison know the officers don't let you like walk in the grass. They don't want you in the grass and shit. Get off my grass. You know, shit like that. So my homeboy walked outside and walked through the grass towards like the 4th or 5th window. So the officers seen that. And they were like, hey, you over there, this and that, this and that. Next thing you know, the police are all over there, you know, searching the area and shit like that, feeling the ground to see if he like hit a dug up poker, or like, you know, they were trying to dig up pokers and look for metal and shit, thinking he hit a knife or something. But really, that was the throw off game that make them think something was over there, so they wouldn't really worry. And that shit was up there in the gutter, man. That shit stayed there overnight and everything. We had to wait till the doors popped, because this was around dinner time, so the doors weren't popping again for us to come outside. And then the next day, you know, I remember fucking going like this, and my dog standing up on my hand, and lift him up there, boom, grab that bitch out the gutter. Everybody in the dorm was like, boy, that boy Frog slick. That boy slick, boy. You know what I'm saying? That was one time I got spared and got away with it. But, so here I'm hanging out in D dorm. They put me in the school building. You know, like they put me in school. That was my job. So I started going to school, you know, for my GED and shit. And then I signed up for environmental services, which I'm state certified in buffing. I learned how to buff. Took the what's it called? I had to work with the nurse, a 6-week class. I had to work inside the medical office and learn how to pick up blood and all that shit. So I'm eligible to work in hospitals. You know, we was in the buffing squad, and that shit was straight legit fire. Like, we go dorm to dorm and buff. You know, we had a certain amount of square feet we had to buff per month just to pass the criteria for the class to exist. And I remember going from dorm to dorm buffing with a banger on me, because, you know, all the niggas I got in fights with were gang members. So, like, even though that shit a dead issue between you and bruh, you know, he got brothers still on the compound and shit. And I remember walking in dorms and shit with my buffing squad and shit, like buffing. And I remember hearing niggas like, oh, that's the nigga, that's the cracker right there. That's, you know, shit like that. And if only they knew that boy finna rock out. Like, yeah, you know, I'm not no dumb nigga. I ain't walking in y'all's dorm, you know, unaware or not strapped up shorty. You know what I'm saying? So I stayed in D dorm for a little while. Hung out with my dog. Had this one bitch, I was using her for money or whatever. I had her sending me like $700-800 a motherfucking week. Finessing her. Told my phone got knocked off. You fuck around, you tell one female, yeah, my phone got knocked off, this and that, this and that. If you still want to talk, you got to send me $300, man. I got to get another phone. Boom, had that hoe send you $300. Tell the other one the same thing, the other one the same thing. You know, and really you still got your jack. Start calling them off star 67, telling them this my dog phone, this my dog phone. Next thing you know, you got you $900 to $1,200 like that. If they really want to talk, they're going to shoot that shit. So, I was finessing bitches like that or whatever. You know, I'd fuck their head up. I'd get money from one female, and I'd order flowers, send it to another bitch with that girl's money, and then do the same thing to her with the last one's check. You know, shit like that. So, fucked around. They do a shakedown again or whatever. The jack makes it through and everything. But, I went to confinement again under investigation. I'm back there under investigation because they came to do shakedown, and when they did a shakedown, they found I had dice, real dice that I took from LifePath. And they used to say there was like a memo up by the canteen windows. If you get caught with these dice, that's, you know, automatic 60 days in the box, this and that, you know, shit like that. But me, as y'all seen in volume 1, I was doing videos with them. Like, you know, I had the dice or whatever. So I went to confinement for that. And that was the reason they took me to confinement. The DR never stuck itself because they took me to confinement for the dice. But when I got out of the box, the dice were still in my dorm. Someone still had them. But then they just placed me under investigation because word of mouth, you know, people were telling the police, oh, he got phones, he got phones. People would literally write a kite and drop that shit in the request box. Drop it where the outgoing mail goes out. They'll write it on a request form. They'll write a kite telling and shit. And then the police will blitz the dorm. You know, that's how, like, flawed people, certain individuals and shit was. So I went there under investigation, but they didn't have nothing on me. They just had word of mouth. You know, they're trying to spook me and shit, you know, talking like, oh, we got you, this and that. You ain't never get back here. You could be back here for 6 months. You know, the whole 9 or whatnot, but they really didn't have shit. Now, my name was already ringing a bell. You know, like I said, the officers knew I rapped and all this other shit. So I get released from the box and they'd be like, you know, you have to sign a slip when you're getting released from confinement. And that's basically signing saying you didn't damage the room while you were in there. And that the room is, you left the room nicely. You know what I'm saying? So I remember signing the paper and they'd be like, here, Kfrog, let's get your autograph. You know, and I had to sign the paper and give it to him. One officer took my ID from me and said, oh, I'm keeping this as a souvenir. You know, and I had to get out of confinement and go to the property room and get a whole nother fucking ID activated and whatnot. So I was under investigation for probably like 20-something days. The jack never got knocked off, which was good. My dog still had it or whatever. So I get out of confinement. They put me back in E-dorm again. So I'm like, damn, they basically just tricked me out of my spot in D-dorm. So I go back to confinement. Oh, they were like, oh, you're going to E-dorm, okay, for all. They don't do videos in there. Like, that's what a cool officer said to me. Like, he knew of footage, but he didn't really say shit. The day I landed back in E-dorm again, man, went up to my dog, bro, here, pack of batteries, bro. Let me get 15 minutes. And I did a video. What's up, bro? You know, they say that they don't record over here, but I just had to do it to show it could be done. Boom, boom, boom. And I sent a video to all my peoples and shit. Next thing you know, my classification officer was the same. So I see my classification officer walking down the walkway to go to D-dorm. So I'm like, you know, I went to screaming his name. And then I'm like, man, what's up, man? You got to move me. And then he was like, what are you doing over there? This and that. And I said, man, I didn't get no new DR, man. My custody still, you know. And then he put the word in 2 days later. We're all back to fucking D-dorm. Right back to where all my dogs are at. So now I'm back over there or whatever. The whole squad's like, nah, boy, Frog, keep getting them. So whatever, I got out, went from E-dorm, went back to D-dorm, and I got in a fight. I got in a fight because, all right, when I got there, whatever, there was a couple new people, whatever, they didn't know what was what, you know. And the one thing I'm not on is I'm not on that you smoking Tunchi in my cut. Like, in between my bunk, you ain't finna be over here smoking no Tunchi, feel me? I don't smoke Tunchi. That brings heat to my cut, you know, and shit like that. Them police ain't dumb, man. They've been doing this shit for years, man. They see you over here smoking in the cut and shit. You know, they'll sit back and just watch the cameras. Especially at nighttime, they see all them cherries lit on the cameras. You know what I'm saying? So, I told the junkie, I was like, hey, bro, check this shit out, bro. You ain't finna be smoking in my cut, you know what I'm saying? But I guess he thought because he was cool with my bunkie or whatever. And I even tell my bunkies, like, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't on that Tunchi shit in the cut, bro. Don't be blowing the house up. You know, so, whatnot. But just when people go to smoking that Tunchi and shit, they get dumb, you know what I'm saying? They really don't know what the fuck they be doing. They'll literally, like, nod the fuck off and be, like, retarded and all slumped and sloppy in my cut. So, I told bro, I was like, hey, bro, check this shit out, bro. Don't be smoking in my cut, bro. You smoking my cut again, I'm finna swing on you, bro. So, you know, he was like, all right, bro, my fault, big bro, my fault, big bro. You know, shit like that. So, next thing you know, he go to smoking and shit. Here he come wobbling, sits in my cut, looking for a Brillo and all this shit. And I sit back and I'm watching him. I went into the day room and shit because everybody was watching TV. And I went into the day room and we were watching that show, Two Broke Girls or some shit like that. I used to say Two Broke Bitches, but Two Broke Girls is the show we were watching. So then I was watching it or whatever, and Saturday Night Live and all that. And then when I went back over there, I seen him fire up. I like waited for him to do it before I like approached him. So then once we went over there, once I seen him fire up or whatever, you know, I walked up to him. And when he was like sloppy and leaned over to grab the Brillo, I smacked him in the back of the head real hard. You know, like I was like, what the fuck did I tell you about smoking in my cut, puss ass nigga? And this and that, smacked him in the head. And he got lucky because I could have did him in right there, but I didn't because I know he was all, you know, he was high. I didn't want to catch him when he was down and that'd be the talk of the compound and this and that, this and that. So I smacked the shit out of him. He ain't do nothing. You know, he straight didn't do shit. The next day, you know, I ain't even sleep good that night. So me, I'm ready. I'm waiting for the light to come on in the morning. So when they come on, I go over there. I'm like, what's up, nigga? Tighten me up, nigga. Tighten me up. And, you know, now that he's sober or whatever, he gonna act like he was always looking like that. Oh, you ain't saying nothing. Oh, you ain't saying nothing, nigga. You ain't saying nothing. He go putting his shoes on and shit. And he come in the bathroom or whatever. And then, you know, I throw my set up. Come on, tighten up. And when we square off, he throws some sloppy ass shit. Got him, slammed him on the ground with the whooping him, boom, 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 early morning, like early morning around breakfast, and I don't even go to breakfast. So I beat the nigga up for smoking in my cut. You know, everybody in the dorm was riding the nigga for it, you know, and everybody were like, they already knew what time it was with me though. So I beat the nigga up over that. The nigga ain't want no more problems. He apologized, you know, he steady trying to be cool after that. Like he'd hit the canteen window and then he'd come back and be like, bro, I got you some cookies, bro. You know, or bro, look, bro, I got you a soup, bro. Like, I'm like, you good, bro? You good, bro? You good? Like, you know, that door closed to where I ain't really, like, fuck with bro like that no more. You know, so, like, he was cool before that, but then, you know, it done came to that level. So, you know, so after I fought the nigga or whatever, the nigga never smoked in my cut again. You know, he respected my mind. And then from there, it turned into, like, check-in season. Like, a lot of people would just come there and they'd fucking get in their situations and then they'd check in. You know, they'd get in the hole with money and check in, you know. And me and my dog were sleeping in two bunks that were in our, you know, like, okay, you got my bunk and then there was a bunk next to me that was open. So my dog from Tampa, he moved into the bunk next to me. So when he come to move into the bunk next to me, all of a sudden a faggot gets put in the dorm. So I tell the faggot off rip, like, hey, bro, look, bro, ain't no one finna be sleeping. You ain't finna be sleeping right here next to me. You feel me? And it's open bay. I'm like, you ain't finna be sleeping right here next to me. You feel me? My dog right here finna buy the bunk off you. He's like, oh, da-da-da, you know, I don't worry about what you doing, this and that, this and that. So my dog go to holler at him again. He like, look, bro, I'm gonna buy the bunk off you, bro. Boom, 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 you feel me? And then the nigga would like, nah, you know, I can get in trouble for that, this and that. So I like, you know, I up. Look, nigga, you ain't finna be living here, nigga. I'm letting you know right now, nigga. You feel me, nigga? You gonna have to get from around this bitch. This and that, this and that. So he like, oh, damn, this and that, that. He go to hollering and shit. Next thing you know, my dog grab me. He like, chill, bro, chill, bro. I'm like, nigga, I ain't finna have no booger sleeping next to me. You know, it's just, you feel me? So, whatnot. You know, a gay person's a gay person, man. But when I'm talking about, like, a person, like, the way, like, I don't have nothing against all gay people. Like, don't think I'm, like, a hate person or nothing. You know, they do their own thing. They stay in their lane. But when it's someone that's, like, actually out there trying to, like, flirtatious and holler at guys and shit, that shit needs to get from around me. So, anyways, my dog got the bunk from bruh. And he went and stayed in my dog's bunk. And then my dog stayed in this bunk. And they would just switch at count time, you know. You feel me? We used to call it a stolo. They would just switch at master roster count when they do your ID. Next thing you know, there's some big ass tatted up dude in there or whatever. He was in there for like good 4 or 5 days or whatever. I let him get on the jack. Like I said, my dog still had that jack when I got put in the dorm. I let him get on that jack. The nigga goes to, I guess, owing people money or whatnot. So next thing you know, we sitting there chilling, vibing. And a white shirt comes in with a clipboard, stops at my bunk. And he's like, oh, I think it was 126 low or some shit, 126 low. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. He's like, go wait by the laundry room. And then he's like, 127 low. And then really, that's the faggot. So boom, he goes and he walks over. We both are standing there by the laundry room. They come in there, and then he's like, the guy real old, they're gang members, this and that. They're trying to kill me. You know, this and that, because he owe people money. You know, in order to check in, you got to check in under someone's name or they're going to throw your ass right back on that compound and you're going to get your ass ate. So, he's like, oh, they're gang members. They owe me money, this and that. The fucking white shirt literally looked at it. He looked up and he was like, I know this is fake, man. Y'all just sign right here and put y'all statement. And I'm like, huh? He's like, you're a white boy, and and him, there's no way that y'all are gang members. But really, he was talking about my dog that was actually living in the bunk, not the one that it was assigned to. So, big dude. I was cool as fuck with him too. I mean, he did like 12 years in prison. He was a cool ass dude. I just don't know why he chose me to check in. You have a lot of people that owe a lot of people money, and then they'll literally, get a list from someone and then go hit the canteen window and go spend like 70, 80 bucks acting like they're going to pay and walk straight to the captain's office with all their canteen and check in and shit. Like, you see it all, and then they be in the box, with all their canteen and shit. They feel protected, So a lot of people went to checking in left and right while I was there. And then I was vibing with my little dog Sparrow. I got my dog Sparrow. He from Jacksonville. And whatever, free him. So me and him are vibing. And then we're in there just chilling and shit. We go to rec. And then while we go on the rec yard, I signed up for the football team. And we on the football team. There ain't no championship like there is in prison. We literally have championships, and you literally get a certificate. You literally have a Super Bowl. And it ain't nothing like you would think. You got inmates that are working as referees, blowing a whistle and shit. Like real deal. Like, it's pretty raw. Every camp I went to is pretty raw. So we all go to playing football, and then couple fights and shit. People go to get mad. They go to calling the whole other team, fuck niggas, tighten me up, this and that. Which it's kind of easier to slide from one dorm to another, or to go to rec with another dorm, because you just tell them you have a football game today. Shit like that. And then as we were there, they actually flipped the dorm. They took D dorm and moved it all down to B dorm, which is on the whole other side of the compound. And then they moved everyone from B dorm all the way back down to D dorm. So I remember I had a whole new dorm. They left like 3 of us. Literally, like out of like 70, 80 people, 3 of us stayed. They did a whole dorm switch. They were moving the people that work outside the gate down on this end of the compound. They had this side of the compound, like I said, it's shaped like a racetrack with a gate down the middle. And you got to follow the traffic. They had like that side of the fence all walking down the B dorm with all their property and shit, people carrying stuff. And then they had on this side of the gate, everyone coming from down there down to this dorm. We all went down there, packed it up, and I got right in front of B dorm to find out my cell. And they were like, oh, D such and such, such and such. And I'm like, what do you mean? That's the bunk I just left. They're like, oh yeah, you must not be leaving then. I had to go all the way back to my dorm with my shit. So now they put me in the dorm with a bunch of new people. Well, really, they put a bunch of new people in the dorm with me because that was my house. I was there first. And I remember as soon as I walk in there, whatever, I'm drinking in the water fountain, and I see some dude looking inside the day room. They got like a cork board with like menus and different like memos and shit. And I seen some dude like trying to hide a knife behind there. So, I'm on my business or whatever. But in my mind, I'm like, damn, bro. I'm like, shit, you feel me? What the fuck this nigga got going on? So, all the knives had like got put in one person's property and got transferred down there on the other side of the compound. Like, everybody put everything in one thing and went down there. So I had to, hey man, you feel me? I remember telling the officer like, hey man, we ain't get our laundry. We ain't get our laundry, bro. I'm like, man, hey, this D dorm's laundry, bro. They're down there in B dorm. So around midnight, the officer like pointed at me and went like this and had me grab the laundry cart of ours and bring it down there to B dorm. Like, he had me walk across the compound with him, and I went in there with the laundry cart and everything. He's like, oh, I got to go down there and do the mail anyways, because their mail came to this dorm. It was supposed to go down there, but since they moved dorms, they just, So I went down there, and I remember mobbing back across the compound, pushing the laundry cart for the people that are in my dorm now from their old dorm. Big banger on me. Pushing the laundry cart or whatever. Came back to the dorm. And, I don't know what bruh had going on or whatnot, but shit, I was going to be ready. So then them people that got put in the dorm or whatever, they wasn't used to that open base shit. So they started getting real, like, thiefish. Like, people would steal your shorts and, different shit like that. It ain't never happened to me personally. But in the first 5 days that them people came down there, boy, we had hella fights. Like, we had, like, everyone lining that shit up. We had a little squad of, like, 4 or 5 of us that was actually in the dorm when they all came down there. So, we would get into shit, and we were rocking with each other. You know what I'm saying? Big. You know what I'm saying? Had this one dude or whatever. He liked to boof it or whatever. And he'd fucking, He worked outside the gate or whatever, and he brought in cigarettes and shit, and lighters and shit like that. You sell a lighter, them bitches go for like $10, $12, $18, $14, like it just depends, So I was down there for a little while. The doorman cranking back up, getting a little, more like fit. Everybody started vibing with each other. Everybody knew what it was. And then you got people, like I said, this is the open bay dorm, but they left me down there, which was kind of a blessing because I was in the school building. I was in school, and they left me down there. And then just like me and like 7 people maybe, all the rest of the dorm went outside the gate, worked outside the gate. Like I never been outside the gate my whole time in the chain gang. So they all worked outside the gate. They'd come back with things and stuff like that. One time had an officer just straight through like a fucking like a whole bomb of 60 cigarettes wrapped up that someone had stuck in their ass or whatever. I remember I was walking back from the chow hall, and I guess, the white shirt or whatever, they knocked that shit off or whatever they did. And he was like, and he grabbed it and he slung that bitch, like just threw it in the grass in the middle of the compound. And I remember walking and seeing it. Swoop, let me get that. That's 60 lakhs right there. Each one go for $10. You break it down into $2 chubs. You know what I'm saying? So, we were all down there vibing. Everybody's getting along. Been there for a little while. And, they added a couple new canteen items on the list and shit. That's when Powerade came out. The little Sour Jack candies and the red velvet cake cupcakes. Shit like that. And then that's when, like, we would literally legit gamble. Like we'd have fun in that bitch playing casino. We're in there gambling, people will gamble, then they don't want to pay. So a lot of people would like get their shit cut. And it was just crazy because now that they broke the compound down like that, there was literally like like an outbreak on like stabbings and shit. Like I'm in front of the school building, and a gay dude set a gang member up and told his brothers that hey, I've been fucking with bro, da 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 da. So his brothers, they can't get the green light and do what they gotta do unless it's for sure, you know what I'm saying? So they gotta like prove it. So I guess they gave the letter to the faggot and told the faggot, the gay person, to give it to their brother and have him meet him in the chapel. So they watch, they sit back and observe, they see their brother meet up with the gay guy, whatever, this and that, this and that, this and that. And then his brothers see him and let him know, you deer meat, nigga, and this and that, you feel me? And then he like upped the banger and stabbed up the gay guy for setting him up. And then he took off running towards his brothers and like was gonna rock out against his brothers. The police came, like we're all right there in front of the school building, like, the police came, and what it was is, the dude that they had to X out, their brother, he was known for beating like 3 people to death or whatever while he was in the county jail. Like they know if they go after him, he's got to rock out. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he caught charges while incarcerated. That's how sick he was, So, like, it was funny. Like, he pulled a knife out and he's chasing them too, and they'd run, and then like they're running from him and they have knives. And then, like, when he goes after the one over here, the other one will try to run up this way. Then he'll turn and go after this one. He'll start running. Then this one will run up right here. Like, they were scared. And then the police came and they were spraying them. I seen that day a female officer sprayed herself, dropped the whole spray can and everything. She, like, sprayed, and due to the wind, it landed back in her face. She dropped the can, which was, like a fucking, like an inmate could have grabbed that shit and just, they were spraying them, and then one of the gang members was screaming, "Why you spraying me? He chasing me with a knife. Shit like that." And they finally caught him or whatever. And he ripped it though. He ran around the corner behind the canteen window, and everyone's laid on the ground all throughout the compound. Like everyone knows when there's a situation going on, just drop on the ground. That's what you're supposed to do. The whole compound does it. So, and then when they run around the corner, like I'm laying on the ground, and then they run around the corner, they don't see him, and then they're like. And then they look down and he's laying there. He's like, fuck. He jumps up, pulls his hat off, throws the knife over into the rec yard, takes off running again. You know what I'm saying? Like he laid on the ground and tried to play like he was a dummy, like he was an innocent bystander. And then they chased him, they caught him. And then when they caught him, they pulled his shirt off in front of everybody, and he was war ready. Like I guess he knew his brothers were going to wet him. He knew that they were setting him up kind of. I mean, I don't know if he knew because then he wouldn't have fell for it. But he was always war ready because he had a vest on. He had OK magazines and shit. Like, he was all strapped up. Like he knew, you know, it was time for him to rock out. Then, that right there brought tension to the compound for a while because I guess the gay guy was related to someone in there that was a gang member also. So, you know, regardless, they're going to stick up for their cousin or whatnot. And then it was just like it was an outreach war between the two gangs right there for like a good 6 days. Like, they bucked us on Canteen because as soon as they opened the compound and let someone go to Canteen, people were getting wet. You know, like, it was crazy. Like, you see the police up and everyone yell, they running again, they running again. You know, they running across the compound, the police. That means someone's wet. They come out gushing. You just see them bringing somebody like, damn, you got fucked up. Like, it was just, it was crazy as fuck. Like, how many stabbings were going on there at the time. And then, next thing you know, one morning, this is when I went to confinement again. One morning, I wake up. I'm laying there sleeping in the dorm. And I feel my sheet getting pulled off of me. And when I look up, there's like 10 officers around me with ski masks and shit on. Look like Call of Duty. Look just like Call of Duty. They was all like, they were leaning over me and everything. And I'm like, and they're like, yeah, come on down. And I went and I looked, I'm like, man, what the? And then they're like, no, don't. Like, they were waiting to see me hide something or throw something off. They were like, don't move too fast. Come on down now, Mr. Kfrog. Come on down. You know, they grabbed me, they put me in handcuffs. They're like, where the phone at? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. They're like, all right. And it was really like a blessing in disguise because I was going to wake my dog up that was next to me. And the shit was literally in his boot, like just sitting right there under the bunk. You know, I'm figuring they're going to like search the whole area, you know, which they ended up doing or whatever. But I was going to hit the bunk and wake him up, but he's laying there like knocked out. So due to the fact that I didn't wake him up, everything went smooth. You know, I was going to try to put him on beat, but instead they and then all of a sudden when they put me in handcuffs, I'm looking. And when I look and shit, I'm like, damn, you feel me? I'm like, there's like, you just hear everybody, damn, look, Frog, look. The whole dorm's quiet. Like, they knew they were coming in, bro. No one put me up on game, which, you know, they probably couldn't anyways. I know how it goes. So they bring me into the laundry room. They got me in handcuffs. And then they spent like 3 hours searching all the lights right there. Like the first 3 top bunks. They even woke my dog up, searched the bunk, everything. But did not look in the boot. And I'm in the back of the laundry room and handcuffs, and they come in. I'm like this. They come in with a pair of boots and throw it on. They come in with a pair of boots and go into the officer station with it. So I'm like, damn, I got the jack. So I'm like, all right, you know, it's good to know what DRs you're facing. So then trying to find out that was just another pair of boots. It wasn't the jack. So then they take me to confinement again for an investigation. So then while I'm back there under investigation, it was crazy because they got me in handcuffs, and when they walked me out of the laundry room, you know, it was kind of dim in there, whatever. It was early in the morning. It was like a Saturday morning. They said that they've been watching the cameras, and they've been watching me in my cut for the longest. They're like, Frog they were like, Kfrog, it looked like had a phone back there for like 8 months or whatever. But, you know, different stories going around and shit. When they were walking me out of the laundry room, you know, on the compound, certain dorms are at rec. So they like I said, it was kind of dim in there at the time. They didn't have the light on in the laundry room. So they opened the back door to escort me to confinement. When they do that, you know, it's real bright out there, and where I was at, the dorm I was in, D dorm, was right next to the rec yard. So as they're walking me through the dim fucking light through the laundry room, as soon as I'm getting ready to walk out the door, you know, it's real loud out there from the dorms that are at rec. So as soon as I walk out the fucking dorm, into like walking down to come out the back door, it got straight quiet on the rec yard, and it got real bright because now I'm in the sun. And then and everyone was just quiet, like, and you just hear them say, damn, Frog, you good? Frog, what's up? And I'm just like, I'm in handcuffs, you feel me? And I'm just, you feel me, walking with my head up, you feel me? Like, I try to, like, you know, and then boom, they took me to confinement. They escorted me there. I didn't have no shirt on or nothing. I had just gym shorts. You go to confinement, you lose all your shit. You know what I'm saying? But not always though. Like Calhoun, you know, they ain't giving you shit back there. Like I said in my prior video, they might give you like 5 food items if they bless you or fuck with you. You're losing all your blues, all your everything. Charlotte, they give you everything. You getting it all in there. Boy, they gave me my, all my food, everything. So I was straight. And then I had people in the door and I was making sure that shit ain't took, because people break in your shit and steal your shit before the officer comes and packs your things. So my dog actually thought that someone set me up with a banger. That's why I was going to jail. He thought they found a banger. A lot of them was at rec with the other dorms. So when they see me walk across the compound, they're like, nah, man, what the? So they come back in, and my dog ended up fighting 2 people that day. And I never it wasn't even a banger I went to jail for. It was just investigation. So then I went back there, and then I was back there probably only under investigation that time for like fucking shit, probably like a month and a half. And then I got out again on investigation on the same compound, and then went back to the same dorm. And then that's when they moved my dog, and that's when I finally met my dog Shine. I had been back in there for like a good month or 2. I'm in there vibing, mobbing. Had a jack get knocked off or whatever at that time also, and from a shakedown. And we had to, like, there's mules, you know what I'm saying, there's fall men, there's men that'll literally take the charge for it. You just pay them off, you feel me? Like, here you go, bro. That's what they like, so a couple months go by, I'm in there vibing with my dog Moyo. He's a king or whatever, shout out to Moyo. And then next thing you know, my dog come walking in the dorm. I didn't know him yet. He came walking in the dorm, to see all of his brothers and stuff, and then that's the first time we met and we spoke or whatever, it wasn't really nothing. We just like, what's up, bro? He's like, what good? You feel me? My dog Moyo, like, oh, this my dog Frog, you feel me? This white boy right here, he be rapping, he this, that, he that, I fought with him the long way, this white boy on that. So then he was like, okay, bro, I see you. I'm like, yeah. And then, a couple months down the line, they moved him into my dorm. And when they moved him into my dorm, he worked outside the gate. He had a couple brothers in my dorm also or whatever. He ended up rocking out, getting in a fight at the center gate or whatever, rocking out. And, went to confinement and shit behind that or whatever. I ended up going to confinement again for being in the wrong bunk. I went to jail for being in the wrong bunk. And when I went to confinement, I ran into him on his way. He was being transferred to medical. He was going to medical for like a checkup or whatever it could have been. And then me, I was getting out of the box. We seen each other, we nodded or whatnot. We weren't sure if we really fought with each other or not. We just knew, I knew who he was, he knew who I was, And then that's it. We just like nodded, boom, it is what it is. And then I got back out, went back to the same dorm. And then once I went back to the same dorm, he came back after he finished his box bid for the fight or whatever. And then that's it. He came in the dorm. He was like, what's good, bro? I'm like, what's up? And then he was chilling with my other dog. You feel me? My dog that's on the streets. You feel me? My dog Tank Head. He was chilling with Tank. And Tank was like, oh, bro, I want you to meet my dog. You feel me? Tank came up to me in the school building. I was like, bro, you be rapping, bro? I'm like, yeah. You feel me? A little something. He like, bro, I done heard from people, boy, you fired, this and that. I'm like, yeah, I do my 1-2, you feel me? And we went to talking. We was in the same class, but we weren't really talking, me and Tank, but we was in the same dorm. He was one of the ones that they moved from that end of the compound down to this end of the compound. So we in there vibing or whatever, getting to know each other. But he was like the middleman. He was cool with Shine and he was cool with me. So he like brought us together. And then once he brought us together, we like kicked Tank out the car, you feel me? And it was just me and Shine. Vibing and shit like that. We'd cook, vibe. I remember times me and that boy ain't go to motherfucking chow. Me and Shine ain't go to chow, bro, for a year, bro. Like, straight up, bro, we ate out of our locker, bro. We ain't eat chow food for a year. You know what I'm saying? that was it, bro. Like, and it was me and him against the world. Like, literally. Then I met all his brothers. They fucked with me 1,000. They know it ain't nothing but love on this end. Ain't no fraud. Fuck with them boys 1,000. And I'm rocking out with them. You know what I'm saying? So, we in there, we just vibing, we cooling or whatever. And then, everything went like uphill and downhill at the same time from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just started vibing and putting in so much work together. Like, we ain't give a fuck. It's like our mind was on what's going on in there. Our mind wasn't on the streets. We was doing whatever the fuck we wanted to and could get whatever we wanted. All we had to do was watch that date go down. you know, and it was kind of hard throughout the process because it's like we trying to stay with each other, you know, like we trying to rock the fuck out and do our bid, you feel me? So, and everything was just straight love from there, dog. Like, we was in that bitch, you know, like, you fuck with him, you fuck with me, bro. You fuck with me, you fuck with him. Like, and there was no way around it. You know what I'm saying? And, I'll get more into that shit next time, you know what I'm saying? But that's my dog right there. You know, I fuck with him the long way. And if I make it somewhere off this YouTube shit, best believe my dog coming with me. You feel me? But appreciate y'all watching this shit or whatever. You know how I do it. I wait like a day or two and then I upload some new shit. You know, I'm going to try to give y'all more and more shit. You know, I know how to do it all. I done seen it all, been through it all. So it's like, you know, I can't run out of ideas. It's just, you know, I'm really out here. So I like, you know, it takes me some time to get to it. But y'all fuck with me, man. Y'all hit that like and subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? And all y'all that fuck with Kfrog and, you know, showing love and support, I fuck with you. You know, and I ain't hard to find. Y'all already know. Check in that description. And let's go ahead and let's run these numbers up. You know what I'm saying? It's Davey with his Frog. Over with.